So yesterday I did a post about handstand crunches at the wall, and I mentioned that I probably wouldn't have done that about, I don't know, 5 or 6 months ago because I'd given myself a ego-induced wrist injury. I have a ganglion cyst on my left wrist that I chose to ignore and continued to practice on, and what that led to was extreme joint pain. I'd wake up in the morning, like almost crying in pain. And then after practice, my entire wrist and kind of shooting up into my forearm would just have this like deep ache followed by like really sharp shoots of pain. So long story short, like really not fun. So I finally decided to lay off it. And during that time, I worked through quite a few different wrist stretching and strengthening exercises. And a couple of you had asked me about them. So I'm just gonna quickly share the top 4 that I usually like to roll through. And I do this every morning when I wake up now. Okay, so wrist exercise number 1, come into tabletop. And so I'll scooch back a little bit. So just find tabletop first, and then just gently rotate the fingertips towards the knees. And it's okay if they don't go all the way back, but you wanna make sure the eyes of the elbows are pulling forward. Then really press down through the palms. And if this doesn't feel good, and know the difference between challenge and pain, but if this doesn't feel great, you can always walk the hands closer to the knees. This is where I was at a couple of months ago, but now true tabletop feels okay. And all you're gonna do is just take some gentle circles in one direction and gentle circles in another. And so this is an abbreviated version, but I would do that like 5 to 10 times each side. So then come back to neutral, reset, press down, and then walk the knees back a couple of inches. Same thing, take those circles, and maybe this time the hips will help to guide you forward a little bit. And again, circles in one direction, circles in another. Come back to tabletop, shake that off if it doesn't feel good, then reset. This time, palms facing up. So this one kind of blows for me. Same thing, eyes of the elbows point forward, rock circles in one direction, rock circles in the other direction. Now from here, step the knees back again. And so these are totally different stretches, and you'll feel that when you try it. This one is harder for me. And so the goal is, after a few circles in one direction or another, you keep walking your legs back until you find yourself in plank pose on the backs of the palms. So this blows. If I was stronger, I might be able to do push-ups. That's not happening for me. So you set it down, sit back down, and shake it off again. So then the next exercise that I do in between those sets is just to re-lubricate the wrist joints. So elbows together, palms together, interlace the fingers, and just take some gentle circles in one direction, gentle circles in another direction. And you just keep going like that. And then so once that's done, I have one more thing that I do every single morning. So what you wanna do is come to comfortable seat, whatever that means for you, and then take the hands, extend them forward, spread through all 10 digits. Then squeeze the palms as tightly as you can, really squeeze. Round the shoulders forward. Keep squeezing and then re-extend the fingers. Do it again, squeeze, re-extend. And so you'll do that on opposite sides of the body. I have my bed here, so I can't move. And then you do it facing up. So once you repeat that cycle, you do it again, but this time faster. Squeeze and release, kind of like you're flicking water. And so this actually really tires me out. So you'll do it the same way, facing forward, either sides, straight up in the air. And I repeat that entire cycle again about 2 or 3 times. And so I've been doing those sets for, I don't know, a couple weeks, couple months at this point. And it's really helped to increase my strength and my wrist flexibility. So when I do try inversions, I'm not in pain during, and I'm not in pain the next day. The only other thing that I will say though is, as with anything, just pair it with a really intelligent practice. So if there's a day when you're not feeling super great, no need to press up into handstand, man, let it go. I know that's like way easier said than done, but it's true. 5 seconds in the air is not worth 5 weeks or 5 months of wrist pain that will wake you up in the morning crying. Trust me, I promise. Other than that, if you guys have any additional wrist stretches that you'd like to share, I'm always all ears. And if you have any questions, feel free to send me a message or shout it out in the comments. Other than that, have an amazing, amazing day.